When did No Jumper officially launch as a YouTube channel?
That's a good question. I think it's been 4 or 5 years. I could look up the exact date of the first one if you want.
Let's look it up.
Okay. June 5th, 2015.
Okay.
So about 4 years.
4 years in.
4.5, yeah.
For someone who's looking to become the next No Jumper, who is about to launch their YouTube channel, they have a cool name, they have a logo, they have a camera, and they have a list of people they're about to interview. What would you say was the key for you to build up to the 3 million subscribers and the millions of views that you have now?
Well, I think the key really, like, you know, a lot of times people ask me for advice and I might say something like, you got to figure out what makes you special, and you got to figure out where your content is going to fit in, because there's already a DJ Vlad, there's already a No Jumper, there's a Breakfast Club, there's academics. A lot of the things to be done are clearly covered. So you got to at some point figure out, what are you going to do that's going to fit in and be something that isn't going to completely just overlap and just be, you know, redundant, because you're going to have to stand out at some point to create your own lane. But the truth is that I really didn't have any clue what my lane was early on. I just started and I kept going and I didn't stop, you know, which is really, when I look back at my early interviews, I mean, a lot of my early interviews have like 10,000 views and didn't make much noise at all in the beginning. And they, you know, the people that I interviewed, their careers didn't go much further than where they were at when we did that interview. But then I did an X interview, and then I did a Peep interview, and then I had a, you know, I happened to do a vlog with Pump, and then Pump blew up, and like all these different things. And it was just, you know, I just kept hammering away at it. And the thing that I tell people to try to figure out, of like, figure out what makes you special, figure out what is going to make you stand out. I didn't have any of that at first, you know, like that really only came together because I was so committed to just making stuff, period. And that, I feel like that's important for a lot of kids, because it might seem kind of overwhelming. Like, how are you going to start a podcast that's more iconic than No Jumper or The Breakfast Club or whatever? It's like, well, you're not going to know before you start, realistically. You could have an idea. Sometimes you have a great idea and you can actually just execute that entire idea, and you know why this business is special to start. But more often than not, you start a business and then you end up pivoting a little bit because maybe the idea you started with wasn't the completed idea, you know? And still to this day, it's like, I don't know what this might look like in 2 or 3 years, you know? It's like, if I have some great idea for how to improve my content, maybe my content stops looking so much like it does now. And I feel like anybody out there, that's what it's all about, is just finding your identity. But you're not going to really find that identity unless you just put in the work and get that experience, you know?
Yes, consistency. We've been around for 12 years. We're going into our 12th year now. And the original idea was drop new content 365 days a year. Everyone thought that was stupid back then. Chop up our videos. Everyone thought that was stupid also. People don't want to watch those short clips. People want the full interviews. Just a lot of stuff that I thought was a good idea in the beginning that went against the grain of what everyone else thought. We just kept doing it year after year after year after year after year. And eventually, yeah, you get your big hits. You know, you get the Soulja Boy challenge. You know, you get, you know, Omarion responding to, you know, the whole Little Fizz and April situation, which became the #1 trending video on YouTube for like 2 days, which has never happened before.
That's crazy.
You just keep putting in the work. You're absolutely right. You don't really need a great game plan to begin with. You just follow. And I think a lot of it also is you interview people you genuinely want to talk to.
Right. It has to come from genuine interest, you know?
The people you interview is very different than the people I interview. We do have overlap. We've overlapped a lot.
Shout out TK Kirkland.
TK Kirkland, BG, no, you haven't done BG Knockout.
Right, soon, I think.
Soon. Trey D, you've done.
But you do such a good job that sometimes it can be, like, you know, they mentioned you could get an interview with Sugar Free. I went and watched your interview, and I was just like, bro, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna ask after this. Like, Vlad fucking killed it. Like, I really don't know. Like, I can't think of anything to write down besides sort of reiterating all the shit that Vlad already did with him.
Thank you. I think that's a compliment.
Yeah.
I mean, when I sit down with somebody, my goal is for that to be their biggest interview of their lives. Period. You've done other interviews. I don't care if you've done radio, podcast, Joe Rogan, Sway, whoever. I'm going to destroy all these other interviews. We're going to get way more views. We're going to have asked the questions all of them were scared to ask. We're going to dig into personal issues. We're going to unearth a bunch of stuff. And this will be the greatest interview you've ever done in your life. And it's going to last until the day you die. People are going to mention it. People are going to stop you on the street. And I feel going into my 12th year that you could take any other interviewer out there, pick one person, and we'll both do that interview, and we both put it out on our platforms, and I guarantee that I'll kill those numbers. I'll kill whatever they did. That's how I feel.
But I respect that as an artist. Like, you need to have that mentality if you want to every single day wake up and keep trying to do this shit. You know, it's like you have to care that much. It's like a lot of people, they haven't been in rap that long. They don't know that much about it, but they want that fucking clout. They want that name. They want to be successful doing this. It's just, you know, you have to like really take pride in it, you know? Like that's like the main thing. You have to really want to be the best at what you're doing. And it can't be because you want to be better than other people too. It has to really, you know, that might be part of it, like, but you have to really want to make it for the sake of making it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And it's no knock to anyone else who does it. I don't worry about people who do other interviews with the same person, whatever media run they're on. I just feel that what I'm gonna do is going to surpass everybody else. And most times I feel that's true.
Yeah.
I'm not tooting my own horn, just look at the numbers. You know, look at an Amarian interview with Vlad TV, and look at an Amarian interview with everyone else.
Right.
And add the numbers up. Damn near anybody. And I think that has to be a driving force. You have to just feel like, you're really gonna approach this and try to kill it and try to just create the greatest story ever told with this person for the time that you sit down with them. And if you don't want to do that, this is probably not the job for you.
Yeah, and like when you said the thing about people thinking I'm a culture vulture, you know, I get it, because there's a lot of people I look at that are doing culture and or doing content. A lot of them are white, and I think that dude is trash. You know, like, he just sucks. He like doesn't give a fuck about what he's talking about. He's not smart. He's not insightful. He's not funny. And you know, I understand when people look at me and they say like, "Oh, he's a fucking culture vulture," because there's other people that I look at and I say the exact same thing. And my only goal is to do enough good content that eventually the people who hate me have to watch one, because they just need to see this one interview clip, and then they actually are like, you know, actually he's all right. You know, that sort of lingers in my brain, is that if I just keep making enough good content, eventually it'll be really hard to just write off everything I've done.
They'll still write you off.
Yeah. But you could go so hard that eventually it'll be, I think, can do enough good work that you can turn the tide again. If there is a tide against you, I think you, through the work, can prove yourself. And I mean, I've had it happen a lot over the years, honestly, where people have come up to me and said, I really thought you were a fucking dick at first, or I thought your content sucked, or I thought you weren't sincerely into this, and now I think differently of you because I saw this one clip.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
I mean, I see tweets all the time. I don't fuck with Vlad, but this John Witherspoon interview is incredible. Like,
right. And right there, you're seeing it crack open, because you might do one more interview that they like, and they might just have to just accept it. Like, all right, I guess I'm a Vlad fan now.
Well, you know, in your biggest haters, the most outspoken people really are your fans.
Right.
Like, for them to hate you, and then they'll start, like, if you ever watch these people and look at what they say about you, they'll start naming a whole bunch of shit that you've done. It's like, oh, clearly you've been watching. So
right.
It is what it is, man. You're not going to have everyone love you.
If you're a big enough fan that you really have a list in your head of every single little thing I did that pissed you off, then you must be a pretty serious fan, because, like, you know, I don't listen to Joe Budden's podcast as much as I wish I did, but I do listen to it quite a good amount. Over the years, I can think of a whole bunch of different little things where I'm like, Joe acted like a fucking dick in that conversation. And I remember I even stopped listening to Joe's podcast for like 2 years at one point, because he had a conversation that I found so annoying and obnoxious that I was just like, you know, do I even like this guy enough to listen to his podcast anymore? But I came back to it. And I mean, I guess that says a lot about my level of fandom that I could even have that many things in my head that have stood out to me enough that I thought twice about it, you know?
Your biggest haters are your biggest fans. The opposite of hate is antipathy. If you do not know who this person is, nor do you care,
Right.
that's the opposite of hate. That's not love.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
love and hate are kind of really, very, very related to each other.
and like the essence of fame is that you're well known enough that, yeah, you have like a base of people that really like you, but then you have this much larger bubble of people who just know who you are. You know, I fucking saw like a famous comedian who walked in my gym the other day, and I'm just like, I'm talking to my trainer, I'm like, that fucking guy, that's crazy, blah, blah, blah. What do I know about him? None. I just know his name. I know his name and I know what he looks like. That's it. I haven't taken the time to really process his content or whatever. And there's a shitload of people that are like that with me. They know who I am. Maybe they've seen a clip. Maybe they've seen me get robbed. Maybe they've seen one little fucking thing. But they haven't really invested themselves in my shit. And I get that. But like the fact that I can put out a video and get 1 million views is like, there's enough people paying attention that like it, that, it makes up for the hate.
That's what it is. Adam22, congrats on your success, man. And just keep proving the haters wrong. Keep putting out dope content. And, I think it's really dope that you really found your niche. You really found for lack of a better word, the SoundCloud rappers early on and really attached yourself to that whole genre and managed to find and interview a lot of the future stars, like the XXXTentacion's, like the Lil Peeps, like the Lil Xans, and so forth. A lot of these guys who ended up getting pretty big later on in their careers, and you kind of built out that lane, which was a lane that, I was ignoring, that the radio station was ignoring, that a lot of the other established formats was ignoring. And that's like, I just interviewed Grant Cardone, who's like, a real estate billionaire. And, he talked about that, about having competitive advantage. And, he kind of pointed out with Vlad TV is that we do the things that the networks don't care about. We focus on these people that are relatively unknown, and we get millions of views off of them because the networks aren't even going to bother. And you kind of did the same thing. You focus on a lot of people that the networks weren't bothering with, the radio stations weren't bothering with, and the established guys like myself weren't bothering with, and you built out that niche, and then you expanded over time.
And those are the opportunities, I think, for a lot of people. Like when I think about, when Chicago was blowing up, you had Elevator all of a sudden pops up doing music videos. You have Fake Short Drive pop up as a blog. You have, various different people who are writers or content creators or whatever, because there was a new exciting scene going on. And that is sort of like a great way for people to sort of enter into the game, is because if you, like I always tell people that too, is like, if you want to make hip hop content and you move to LA, well, congratulations. You're officially like number 700 in the list of the most important hip hop based content creators in LA, because there's a million motherfuckers doing this. If you stay in your hometown, it's like maybe people don't really give a fuck about rap in, Ohio, but if you were able to be the really dope YouTube channel that's based out of Ohio, that could be a lot better than being the 700th dopest channel in fucking LA. And then maybe at some point, if you've done a really good job covering the scene in Ohio, then you can branch out and start to do bigger things.
That's how we do it. Adam22, no jumper.
My man Vlad, appreciate you.
Until next time.
Thanks, man.
Peace.